Alright everyone, welcome back to Call of Duty, and in this video I want to talk about the Vanguard beta. Specifically, I want to talk about the things I feel need changed or need to be tweaked before the full release comes out on November 5th. Now, I put a lot of hours into this game, into the beta specifically. It came out on Thursday. I played it immediately once it dropped early access, and I maxed out my level right around Friday, early Friday, and I've been playing it non-stop all weekend. And there's just a few things I feel that need to be changed or tweaked before the full game comes out, just so that it's, you know, the best experience possible, and it's more constructive criticism than really any hate towards the video game. I genuinely had a really good time playing the beta. It was really fun. It was the most fun I've had playing Call of Duty in a while without like getting mad or raging or frustrated at the video game. Maybe that's partly because I knew it was a beta, so I didn't judge it too harshly when little bugs or things like that came up. But still, it was legitimately the most fun I've had playing a Call of Duty in a while. But it is a beta, so things need to be tweaked and changed before the full game releases, and Sledgehammer has been vocal saying that they want the feedback, they want the constructive criticism before the game comes out, so that they can change whatever it is. I'm gonna tweet this at them at the hashtag that they put. I believe it was hashtag Vanguard, and then you at Sledgehammer, and you send your criticism their way, and they will hopefully fix it if they see that it really is an issue that needs to be adjusted. So I'm gonna just say these in this video, what I think needs to be tweaked and changed from the beta to the actual full release of the game a little bit over a month from now. I'm going to start with the most glaring and obvious thing to me that needs to be tweaked and tuned, that I noticed pretty quickly while playing this beta. I noticed it on the first day, and that was spawns. Now, it isn't a beta, and a lot of times in alphas and betas, there tend to be issues with the spawn because the game hasn't come out yet. They're still fine-tuning all that kind of stuff, so I'm not judging it too harshly on it, but the spawns, when it's 6v6, is not bad, but once it goes into those more intense modes where it's like 10v10, 12v12, 24v24, the spawns get really bad. Like, you can literally spawn right behind someone. Like, they'll just spawn in and then you'll spawn in right behind them and you get a free kill, or vice versa, and you get killed off spawn. And in most maps that's an issue, especially once you get into those higher player count modes. And specifically on the map Red Star, which is the snow map that we had in the beta, the spawns in that map are in such a way that it's an almost guaranteed spawn trap every single time. If you spawn on Seaside, and when I say Seaside, I mean if you're playing Domination, it's on the side where C point is. If you spawn on that side of the map, you are almost guaranteed, if the other team is any kind of competent, you will be spawn trapped almost instantly, and you won't be able to leave that corner of the map. You're just stuck there forever, and there's no way out of it. And that's not very well designed. They need to switch that spawn point to somewhere else that doesn't allow that to happen, because it's literally every match. Like, it got to a point where when that map came up, I would just leave because I knew that if I joined the match, it would just be a spawn trap and I would die, or I would be on the side that was spawn trapping the other team, and I wouldn't be spawn trapping, so I would get like no kills because my whole team is keeping their team from leaving spawn. So that needs to be very majorly adjusted, because if it doesn't, I mean, I won't play that map when the game comes out. Every time it comes up, I'm just gonna leave if they don't change the spawn system in that map. And I feel like a lot of people will start doing the same thing just because of how bad it is. Another thing I feel needs to be tweaked and touched. Obviously, this is something that I knew was gonna be a situation, because gun balancing in betas and alphas is never really a thing. Like, yeah, I mean, there are some basic gun balancing and tune. Obviously, you don't have guns that can like one bullet people or whatever. But when it comes to betas and alphas, a lot of times guns are overpowered still because they haven't really fine-tuned them. But there are a few things that I will say about gun balancing. For one, the STG needs to be nerfed. It's disgusting. I mean, it has basically unlimited range. It barely has recoil. It kills you in like 3 bullets. The thing needs to be nerfed somehow. Give it a little more recoil, reduce the range. It's an AR, so you don't have to necessarily reduce the range, but just you got to do something to it to nerf it a little bit, because literally even in the beta after the first day, every time I died it was an STG. Like, everyone was just using that gun because they knew how good it was. No one was using anything else, and it just got really stagnant because of that. So I feel like the STG really needs to be nerfed. And then other than that, I will say that guns were pretty balanced in terms of the rest of the weapons. Like, they all felt pretty viable. I used all the SMGs, all the ARs, all the snipers. They all felt pretty viable. None of them felt super weak or bad. They were all pretty good, so that's good that there is that good balance where you feel like you can kind of use different weapons. You're not stuck on like 1 or 2 different guns the whole game. But I will say SMGs their damage range needs to be reduced because it's basically like an AR but faster. The SMGs in the beta just beamed you from halfway across the map, and that's not how SMGs are supposed to work. So I think that needs to be tuned down a little bit, just make the damage range just a little bit less, because it is ridiculously far for an SMG. So I think that's one of those things. But other than that, I feel like the guns are pretty solid, and gun balancing is always a thing in betas and alphas that needs to get done before the game comes out. It's always a thing. I knew that was going to be an issue with some of the weapons, and it was, and that's totally fine. It was a beta. I'm not that like judgmental about it. Now the next thing I have on my list is something that's a little bit smaller, not as game breaking, if you will, or not as like pivotal to the game, but still it makes a big difference, and that is that the sun is too bright. It's like you're looking into the gates of heaven. It's like heaven opened up and you're staring right into it and you can't see anything. And there's certain maps where that really hurts you. Bird's Nest and Gavuntu are perfect examples of this, because on Bird's Nest, if you spawn on A side, which is where A will be in domination, and if you're coming out of your spawn, you're going up at an incline, because it's like down a hill. And when you're coming up that incline, the sun is in your face, and if any enemy is standing at the top of that hill to shoot down in your spawn, you literally can't see them. I mean, you can't. You look up and you see the sun. You can't see them, so you're dead. Like you're more likely than not just gonna die because of it. So and on Gavuntu, if you are on C side, which if you play domination, you know what I'm talking about. On C side, the sun is in your face there too. So if you're coming out of spawn, there's a lot of spots where when you try to take that line of sight, the sun is in your face and you can't see anything. And I don't feel like that's something that should happen in Call of Duty, where the sun blinds you to the point that you die because of it, or you can't get kills because of it. I respect and appreciate that they're going for the realism and they want, you know, the map to look realistic, but the sun is just entirely too bright and needs to be adjusted because it is literally blinding. Okay, so the next thing is another issue with visuals, and that is that it's very, very hard to see people. And what I mean by that is you can literally turn a corner, look to your right, to your immediate right. There could be somebody standing there in the corner. You won't see them. You'll keep going, and then you'll get killed from there. And it literally happened to me, and I was like, wait, I'm just blind, right? And I looked back at the video, like I looked back at the clip, and even in the clip, I could barely see the guy standing in the corner, and he's not behind cover, he's just standing there, but you can barely see him. It's like, for some reason, it's really hard to just see people sometimes, and I feel like that needs to be adjusted somehow. I don't know how you would do that, fix the saturation on the skins or something, I don't know, but you need to fix it because it's really hard to see people. Now this next thing I have to say is about sound. The footstep audio in Vanguard is too low. Now, I don't want Modern Warfare footstep volume where you can just sit in a corner and sound whore the whole game. No, that is too loud, but it is too low in Vanguard. And what happens when it's too low is, number one, basically everyone's running around with dead silence, and number two, because of that, dead silence becomes kind of useless. No one's going to use it because you're already super quiet, so you're going to use the other field upgrades instead, because you don't need dead silence. So just turn it up a little, just a little bit, not too loud like Modern Warfare. If it's between Modern Warfare and these, I'd rather have the Vanguard footsteps where you barely hear anything, because the Modern Warfare ones were way too loud. But it needs to be turned up, in my opinion, just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to hit on these last few things really quickly because they're not that important. Number one, voice chat, way too loud. You know, turn that bass volume down just a little bit because it is so loud you can't hear anything when people are talking. Number two, the champion hill queues are way too long because it needs to have the exact number of players every match, and that makes matchmaking take forever. I was trying to play trios with some of my boys, and it took us 5 to 10 minutes to find a match every time because it needed the exact number of players every single time just to play a match, and that takes entirely too long, so you need to adjust that somehow, some way, so that it doesn't take that long. And then last but not least, the mortar strike kill streak is bugged, and if you try to, first of all, I don't know what it detects as cover, but any little tiny thing that you're standing near detects it as cover, and then it won't let you throw it, and then it bugs out. It won't let you use any kill streaks, it won't let you throw tacticals, it won't let you throw frag grenades or lethal grenades. You literally get completely bugged out, and all you can do is shoot, and they need to fix that, and fix the way that you throw it and what is considered behind cover, because just because you're standing 5 feet from a wall does not mean you're behind cover, and you're trying to throw it in a completely opposite direction from that wall. So that's really frustrating, and they need to fix that. But overall, like I said, I had a really fun time on the beta. I'm really looking forward to the full release of this game. It was something that I was worried when it was announced, because World War II games are never been my, like, they've never really been my thing. I didn't really play Call of Duty World War II. I didn't really like it. They've never been my thing. And so I was kind of worried, but after playing the alpha and now the beta, I'm very excited for this game. I have a lot of hope. Hopefully they tweak and tune these things to make it that much better. And I'm really excited for the release. So if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe, hit that little notification bell. I post pretty much every single day. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.